I think if you're a novice, you need to do that. You need to go through the process. You need to see what it's all about. But if you want to get in this game, right, and get off the sidelines and get into the game right now, you're going to have to think creatively, and you're going to have to take risks that you probably weren't going to take before, and really stick your neck out. This is, and I'm not saying that it's going to be risky necessarily, as long as you surround yourself with the right team, the right coaches and mentors to help you through it. But the old traditional, old-fashioned way of buying investment properties is more difficult right now, because you're in competition with all the first-time home buyers and move-up buyers and everybody who doesn't like their house because they're in COVID and they don't like their house anymore. And
welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day. Jennifer is grateful for the opportunity to educate, empower, and inspire you with powerful conversations, insights, and new viewpoints. Here's your host, Jennifer J. Hammond.
Hello. This is Jennifer Hammond. And I'm so excited. We're here with Jen Duplessis. I'm so happy to be with you because we have done the Jennifer and Jen show for years now. And
yeah,
it's so much fun to have you.
I don't know why we never even started one. We should have just started one.
Started one because you were in the mortgage industry for years and years and years, and then your first book was amazing, and then it's just you just keep having more and more books. So.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's like I'm a book hound all of a sudden. And it was funny because I didn't even want to write the first one. And it's just, kind of turned into something that's just crazy. It's silly.
It's amazing. Well, let's start there. Just so people know a little bit about you. You were in the mortgage industry for many, many years. And then you took a shift, and now you're doing coaching and I want to say authoring.
Speaking, podcasting, being an author. Yeah. A TV show, all the things you're doing too. I mean, we're basically doing the same stuff.
We're basically doing all the same stuff, which is super fun. And it's super fun because I'm going to say I'm so grateful to you because I love that we're in a mastermind together. And so we get to really share and help each other grow, because one of the things that I love about you is that you are always trying to help others grow, like through your coaching program, your books. I mean, you really work on all of that. So I want to say thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I mean, you really do help me too. So don't discredit yourself, because you really do. It's awesome that, and I mean, this is what it's all about, right? Is helping one another grow and lifting everybody up. So I think it's wonderful.
I do too. And I think it's just so fun because in so many ways, you were in the mortgage side. I was on the real estate sales, but both of us, we have so many common grounds, not only the podcasts and the books and that kind of stuff, but I know another thing that you love to do is real estate investing. And right now, year 2021, we all thought, for whatever bizarre reason, we thought this whole pandemic was going to be done, and how it's affected the real estate investing market is very different. So will you talk a little bit about not only your viewpoint on that, but I know you just bought something recently. Will you talk about how important it is to be creative?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much for asking me. I have a lot of opinions on what's going on in the marketplace. And I think it really stems from being a real estate agent to being a loan officer to being a real estate investor. I think all of those are tied together, and we really need to lean on and help one another. So it's not just being an individual who says, I want to buy a house, and now I need to go find a realtor and a loan officer. There's so much more involved. And it was one of my niches, as you know, when I was a loan officer. That's one of my niches, was just buying investment property. Just because I had the need, wanting to do it myself, but then also had the need to find alternative financing. And so really that's the path I play in now. I'm not so involved in the path of, buying your first house, saving 20%, putting that kind of money down. And I think if you're a novice, you need to do that. You need to go through the process. You need to see what it's all about. But if you want to get in this game, right? And get off the sidelines and get into the game right now. You're going to have to think creatively, and you're going to have to take risks that you probably weren't going to take before, and really stick your neck out. This is, and I'm not saying that it's going to be risky necessarily, as long as you surround yourself with the right team and the right coaches and mentors to help you through it. But the old traditional, old-fashioned way of buying investment properties is more difficult right now, because you're in competition with all the first-time home buyers and move-up buyers and everybody who doesn't like their house because they're in COVID and they don't like their house anymore. And rates are super, super, super low. I feel like loan officers are missing a big opportunity in trying to refinance investors into these nice, low interest rates, so they have the best positive cash flow, over the period of time that they're going to own the house. But that's just, just some of my thoughts on what's happening. Rates are going to remain low for another year and a half. Values are going to continue to go up. So if you're going to get in now. Why wait?
Yeah. And I know that you also bought something and you are looking at different creative strategy to go forward with it, which I think, again, like you just said, is the survival mechanism. It's going to be the critical factor that is really going to make or break a lot of investors that are out there and thinking outside the box. And even for people who are getting into the market, I think, I agree with you that some people should go through that traditional, but also I know you would agree with this, and you probably have your own viewpoint, but in some aspect of this, I think it's so important for people who are first-time home buyers to not be scared away if they don't have 20% down. If they can find... Are
you talking about first-time home buyer investors or first-time home buyers?
Well, first-time home buyers can look like, what if their credit is terrible? They can look for an investor who would do seller financing. They could look for very specific loans that aren't emphasizing on your credit. It's possible. And I think that's part of the idea that I wanted to discuss a little bit with you, because so often when we get into we'd love to talk about all of our high level real estate investing, but also for the person who's out there who's just thinking, I just want to be in a place where I own it. A lot of people.
Yeah, something I can call my own.
Yes. So many people are sick and tired of a condo or a tiny little apartment they've been renting. And so now they want to get in, but they're so afraid because it's so busy. So what would you say to that person?
Yeah, I mean, really, we know a lot of first-time home buyers that are still buying. It's just make sure you get your ducks in a row. The old days of I shouldn't even say the old days, like the old days were last year, right? But I think in this particular environment, I think maybe it'll come back at some time. But I think being lackadaisical about this process is not acceptable in today's market. Yeah. And yes, that is putting a dent in, in everybody's thought about buying, because you can't go to a realtor first and go out and look at houses and then finally find one and then call your loan officer and expect to have your offer be accepted. There are, I know everywhere from 4 offers all the way up to 56 offers that I'm hearing in Seattle from some of my loan officers that I coach. 56 offers. So we're really, really strategizing on, what is it that's going to highlight, make it easier for our real estate agents, to even sift through that many offers. How can we come in and really help them out? So I would say from a consumer perspective, you have to have your ducks in a row. You can't just call somebody and get a rate quote. You can't do that. You have to go through the whole process. You have to get what is called a TBD, a to be determined, or a credit only approval, a full loan approval, subject only to appraisal, contract, and title. Really, that's just it. And you may have to waive the appraisal. So hire a home inspector and get them to come with you on the showings when you're going looking. Bring your dad who's a contractor, or your best friend's father's uncle who's a contractor. Bring them with you on looking at properties, so you don't have to get an inspection. And so what? You get an inspection, get an inspection if you want, but make it as is regardless, and get yourself a homeowner's warranty. I mean, that's how easy it is. Just stop messing around with everything. And the market's too hot.
I did a whole show on, there's also pre-offer offer inspections. So if you really love the place, you can look at it, and it's a much shorter version than a regular couple hour inspection. But again, there's always a solution. And that's just what you just said. You ran through a bunch of different ideas. You could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this. So know that it is possible to buy out there. And if you're a real estate investor, it absolutely 100% is possible for you to get in the game. It's just now, to me, you're going to have to stretch your muscles as far as your creative muscles of how you're going to do it from there. So,
well, and again, it's not, I think that there's a thought process behind the fact that in investor financing, that it's either you go the traditional route, or if you don't qualify for that, then you can perhaps go to a bank and they're going to rake you through the coals and trying to get your loan approved, or you go to hard money. And there's everything in between. There are so many options that are available that are securitized and traditional financing above and beyond. But a lot of loan officers don't walk into that world because they don't understand it. It's not an emotional purchase. It is a logical purchase. You buy on the emotion that you're creating wealth for yourself down the road, but you do not buy that house based on emotion. So it's all different. All of it's different. And so you've got to find the right loan officer out there who can understand that, and the right real estate agent who can understand it, because you'll lose great opportunities because the washer and dryer aren't updated if you don't work with the right real estate agent.
Yeah. And I think that like you talked about, I call it your yay team, because we used to call it your yay team. And then I was like, no, it needs to say, every person on there needs to make you say yay. And
that's right.
From your lender to your realtor to your home inspector, everybody on there, because they need to be helping you think outside the box.
Yes.
They need to definitely be thinking creative, but they also need to be able to be very realistic with you. So, I mean, one of the things that I dislike is when I see a home inspector who you can just see is looking for a reason to blow up the deal. And, definitely
or to make them feel valuable for coming in. Yeah.
Okay. Instead of just, okay, we have whatever situation, we need a new roof. Oh my, but it is a new roof. It can be confronted. And is it going to still be worth it? Then you look at the numbers, as you just said, and you don't go through the emotion of it. It is or it isn't a good decision. And, a lot of people I see get stuck on that maybe of, well, I don't know. And then they have the sleepless nights and they worry about it, when it's just a matter of, adding up the columns and making sure, again, you're surrounding yourself with the right people who can give you those answers.
Yeah. And a lot of times, I mean, like the house I bought yesterday, I was like, I'm buying it and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do exactly with it.
Not everybody can do that, Jen.
Well, that's why it was funny when you said, oh, it's a rental. And I'm like, maybe kind of, I don't know. I don't think I'm going in that direction with it. But that's just part of it too, is pulling the trigger. There's so many investors I see that, and again, it's a whole novice thing of I want to be an investor or an investor wannabe. And they just talk about it. And you just have to buy your first one, buy it, get under contract with your first one. Everything will fall in place as long as you've had some conversations with your team, your yay team, to make sure that everyone is ready to help you and that their resources will help you resolve any problems that you don't see in the front side. So get in the game. Just put me in, coach.
Yeah, exactly. Put me in, because once you're in, then you can start really making it happen. And that's when the magic happens, so to speak, is, you don't really know what you've got until you're really.
Yeah. And I'm laughing because I have something I'm doing this week or tomorrow or Friday. I have a big summit that I'm doing. And I just found this really cool photo, and it's just a picture of a door, right? And it says, when opportunity knocks, open the door, right? Because it always says when a window shuts, whatever. I don't even know what the phrases are, but when opportunity knocks, open the door. It's just a door, right? When it knocks, open it. Yep. Open it, take the chance in it, move into it. The worst that could happen is you could lose $1 if you're offering $1 as earnest money. $10, $100, $1,000, right? And it's not a failure, it's a learning experience. But the worst that you could do, when I make offers, I only do $1 earnest money. So
yeah. I think I love that, because I think that is one of the biggest problems is people end up having that wait and they kind of hurry up and wait. And then, I missed this one. I missed that one, especially in this kind of market. And then
you don't have time.
People just give up, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now they're just going to go rent somewhere and crawl up and complain.
Yeah. So don't give up, give in, do it.
Yeah.
Right. Don't give up, give in. Go into the process, make it work, and then you're going to start realizing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited about what's happening, and we're only at the brink of it because forbearance hasn't been decided, right? We know July 1st, forbearance could be lifted or it could be extended, and there are going to be a lot of people who are in a lot of hurt. And, the investor community is always what helps that. Obviously, the first time home buyer community will be jumping on all those opportunities as well. So yeah, get your ducks in a row, get your team in place, know exactly what the deal is, and don't sweat the small things.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. I think that the nice part is I really believe the future is so bright. We have so many opportunities, and it's just a matter of honestly getting yourself prepared. Just like I know you know this as well, you have to have that regular routines and make sure that you're doing what you need to do to get yourself in shape. Like you shouldn't just go from couch potato to running a marathon because you could injure yourself. Right. So as much as we are the cheerleaders and the rah-rah, it is important to make sure you have done the work so that you're not just, also making foolish mistakes. Oh yeah. Don't think for a minute. I woke up yesterday and said, today I'm going to buy a house, whatever house comes my way. I mean, I had to do the analysis on it. I had to make sure that, it was going to cash flow the way I wanted to. I had to prepare from a capital perspective, make sure that I had capital set aside. So when the deal of the century came along, I was ready to pounce on it. And that's the way to do it is to make sure you've done all your preparations. Just like I always think about when you go out to do any kind of exercise, you better have done your stretching because the next thing you pull a muscle and you're like, I don't understand why I did it. Well, you knew you were supposed to stretch beforehand. Right. I mean, I don't know how long you can pretend like you didn't know you weren't supposed to stretch. Right. So, and the same thing with, like you said, putting the money away and making sure that you have everything set up. So you understand what you need to understand, meaning that you're also, and this is something I know you're also very passionate about, is ask the question. So if you don't know the answer, do not let a status thing or being afraid of someone thinking you're stupid or any of those other things, ego. And, every so often I still catch myself doing something and I'm like, wait. I go, no, I need to ask the question. And even if you've already asked it before, if you didn't understand it, you didn't understand it. And just give yourself a break and don't try to allow. I always think about, I'm sure you remember the Mickey Mouse and the Goofy. When there was Goofy, there was like an evil Goofy on one shoulder. Right. And the other one. Angel. The angel. Yeah. And it's like two different voices you hear in your head. And the evil devil Goofy will be like, you should never even take a chance. It's a bad thing. You're going to make a mistake. And then the angel one is, you could do this. The cheerleader. Right. Yay! It's your inner voice. I mean, it's your inner voice that's talking. And that's why you need to surround yourself with so many great people to help you outwardly walk through things. It's sort of like thinking out loud, right? Where you're talking out loud and you're walking through that process. And usually you can solve your own problem, but it's good to have other people around you because that's taking off the blinders and allowing you to be able to see what is possible. Yeah. And I think that's important. One thing they just overlook so much is who do you spend the most amount of time with, and are those people helping you grow? And are they also being honest with you? Because so often we surround ourselves with people who are not saying what you said, I know. And I'm hearing that too right now is it's called, about being authentic. And I think sometimes the word can be overused, but I'm going through a course myself right now about learning about that. And I was just listening to it earlier today. And one of the things that they were talking about is radical. I wish I had the word written down. I'll think of it. Radical. It's just being, it's radical honesty, right? It doesn't have to be mean, but it has to be
right up there truthful. And whenever someone says, I'm being honest with you, well, I think you should have already been. So everything you say after that word, I don't understand, because I thought, I'm still going, wait a minute, you weren't honest before. Why are you saying it now? But it's radical feedback, right? It's the feedback that is, it can be controversial, but in a positive way. It's all meant with good intention and good authenticity. As a colleague, I need to say what my opinion is and what my counsel is to someone based on my experience. And they can make their decision, but I'm going to be able to give them that really good counsel. And sometimes it's what you don't want to hear, but it's better to know than wonder, right?
It's better to know than wonder. You said that so fast, and that's like such a perfect thing. It is so much better. And I even found that with clients over the years, is I would rather know if they thought I was doing a bad job, because I never was intending to do a bad job. But inadvertently, you could get busy, or you could be doing things. Just like one of my favorite questions that I love to ask after I had some really bad upsets, shall we say,
or difficult situations.
Difficult situations was, then I started, every time I met a client, one of my first questions was, how would you like me to communicate with you?
Yes.
Do you prefer text message, or would you prefer an email, or would you prefer a phone? Because I've been yelled for all three. And I realized that I was like, wait a minute, this is so confusing. Are we supposed to be text messaging? Are we supposed to be calling? Calling takes too long. People don't like voicemails anymore. No, I don't want a text message. I get too many text messages. Put it on an email. Oh my gosh. My head.
Yeah, that's you know what that is, Jennifer? That's the difference between the golden rule and the platinum rule, because the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you like text, you're going to text. The platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. We just have to ask the question. How do they want to communicate, right? And that, very simply, if we elevate that to the platinum rule, becomes easier and easier for you to be able to deliver that unbelievable client experience.
I agree. That is such a very, very well said, because we just need to communicate. And that's, to me, also the secret of real estate investing as well, is finding out what are the needs and wants of the person on the other side of the transaction, especially whether you're selling something or whether you're going to buy something. It's really important to find out in that platinum rule, not what you think they should be thinking or what they should be doing. Oh, dear God, that does get you into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, and I know, because my husband is a phone guy, and he's like, and I'm like, well, he said, well, I called you, and I go, you got to text me. I respond faster to text. That's the way you need to communicate with me. Well, I emailed you. I don't look at that as often. Text will work. Right.
And you and I are so much similar, because I'm like, what do you mean you emailed me? And I'm like, oh, it just, you're going to have to go digging through the emails. I try to get all the junk out of there, but still there's so many that I would like, if it's urgent and you need me right away, I need a text, so I try to go look for it.
Get my attention. Yeah. Get my attention quickly. It's crazy.
Like, doom, and it's done. So again, to me, that's like the basic is ask people how you like to be communicated with. But like you said, I love that. Don't just think of the golden rule. Don't just think of treat them as you want to be treated. Actually go to the platinum rule, go one level higher and find out what their needs and wants are and how you can actually handle it, how you can be of service in that way, whether it's with a friend, whether it's a colleague, whether it's a client. It's really about helping each other. But again, the way they want to be helped, not necessarily the way you think should be helped.
Yeah. And we're women, so we just want to help.
We do.
We just want to dive in and help, right? And so there's all this great intention, but it doesn't always come across that way, because my husband's been calling me a canary lately, and I go, whoa, because I apparently have shot moments where I'm just and then I pull back again, and then and he's like, I'm like, my eyes are glazing over, and I said, okay, fine, I'll learn that you don't want that. That's good. That's good for me. It's only because I want to help, right? Because he's in the mortgage business. I want to coach him, and he's like, not by my wife.
Yeah, exactly. He can do coaching, but maybe not my wife. Yeah.
Right.
Again, how do you want to be communicated with? Not by my wife.
Right.
So, okay, that's fine. Everybody gets their coaching or their wise words from the person that they can receive it from. And, just like us, there are certain people that say it a certain way, just like I love the way you said the platinum rule is one higher, and the fact that you just find out what needs and wants are. And it's so basic, but it's so important to us as humans, as spirits living this human experience, shall I say.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah, I love it.
So I know we're almost out of time. I want to make sure I ask you the question I've been asking every single person. And that is, Jen, how do you create yays in your day?
Well, I live by something called with Darren Hardy called Living Your Best Year Ever. I've been doing these journals for 7 years. And so I create a rhythm every single day that combined with Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning. He's a great friend of mine. And so I do the Miracle Morning in tandem with Living Your Best Year Ever. And, for example, I'll tell you how powerful this is for me. Every year it's powerful in a different way, depending on what I call them MIGs. He calls them big goals. I call them MIGs, massive impact goals, right? What are my 3 MIGs this year that are going to launch me and propel me up into, outer space and whatever. And we just finished the first quarter of the year, and I've already exceeded my goal for the year. At the end of the first quarter, because I've really, really focused for this first quarter, getting everything that I wanted to get done, get things into play that I want to get done. I'm big on execution and implementation and taking action, making fast decisions to move things forward. And, I'm just tickled because, it's sort of like a checkup from the neck up every single morning. Of course, I bookend my days, and I do that in the evening as well. But every single morning I'm in my Living Your Best Year Ever, making sure I'm on track for everything that I want to accomplish personally and professionally. So it's not just it's not just professional. In fact, this year of the 3 MIGs, 2 of them are personal and 1 is professional. And yet I've still exceeded my annual goal by the end of the first quarter. So it's not to boast or anything like that. It's to say that, if you are determined and you are extremely intentional about what you're doing, and every day is worked in an intentional way, and that you take the reins and, put that in play so that you don't have to delay your success, delay your happiness, delay your wealth, delay your relationships, whatever it is, that becomes the passion and the fire that drives you to be able to succeed in whatever you want to do. So be intentional, be really, really intentional in everything that you do. Be clear about what you want for your goals and start putting things in place instead of talking about it.
That is definitely every day.
It's funny because whenever I talk to you, I try to keep my hands lower because we both speak like this even before. And I know even way before we met, I've always been like this. I just saw a video of you and I doing it together on something. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm trying to intentionally keep my hands low so that you can do your yay. But it's so hard because I'm wanting to talk with my hands quite a bit.
But I think you should always talk with your hands, because I haven't seen that video yet, but I think it would be so fun every time we do it together. So,
oh my gosh, it's just the silliest thing I've ever seen. And then the other thing that I see that we do all the time, and I don't know where it stems from, is every time I talk about numbers, I go, there's 2 things, there's 4 things, there's 5 things that happen. And you do it too. And I picked up on it and I thought, oh my goodness, this is total mirroring. It's absolute mirroring.
It is. Yeah. It's so much fun. But, every time we're together, I always have so much fun. We've done so many fun things over the years. And
I know. And we get to go on a cruise. We get to go on a cruise. Look, I did it. We get to go on a cruise in November together. Yay.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you is, as we go out off the air, I was asking if you would do your yay, if you say yay with me. Yay!
I will.
So you, okay.
Ready? Are we going 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Yay!
Hammond Show.